Star Wars. These facts go to 11. Aristotle here with 11 full throttle facts about Star Wars. George Lucas originally wanted to make Flash Gordon but couldn't secure the rights, so he just went ahead and invented Star Wars. Glad he did. In fact, the opening crawl is taken directly out of Flash Gordon. Because of the success of Star Wars, a few years later, a Flash Gordon adaptation was made. Queen did the soundtrack, and the soundtrack is way better than the movie. Could you imagine, though, if Queen did the soundtrack to Star Wars? Probably be great. Max von Sydow played Ming the Merciless in that movie, and as a nod to classic sci-fi, J.J. Abrams cast Max von Sydow in Star Wars Episode 7. That opening crawl, though, the Directors Guild of America at the time did not allow for an opening crawl, they only allowed for opening credits. That didn't jive with George Lucas's vision, so he resigned from the Directors Guild of America and said, "Screw you guys, I'm out of here." The original opening crawl did not include Episode 4, A New Hope. That was added later on. All the way up till right before filming, Luke Skywalker's last name was Starkiller. George Lucas changed it at the last minute because he didn't want to be associated with Charles Manson and the murder that he had his followers carry out on celebrity Sharon Tate. Starkiller doesn't sound too friendly. Also, as a throwback, J.J. Abrams named the superweapon in Star Wars Episode 7 Starkiller Base. Bonus fact: Harrison Ford was cast as Han Solo at the last minute. The script was filled with so much space jargon, he famously forgot his lines all the time because he said to George Lucas, "You can write this, but you sure can't say it." Oh, and about the controversy between who shot first, Han or Greedo, Harrison Ford says, and I quote, "I don't know, and I don't care. We love ya, you old curmudgeon." The actor, Peter Cushing, who plays Grand Moff Tarkin, complained that his shoes were too tight in his costume, so he insisted on wearing slippers and to only ever be filmed above the knee. Those very slippers were on display at the Whitstable Museum in 2013. I got a couple slippers you can use, Peter Cushing. It's a moth anyway. Sounds like something you would clean your floor with. And that droid, IG-88, who doesn't make an appearance technically till Empire Strikes Back, is a recycled prop from the cantina scene in Star Wars. And Dennis Lawson, who plays Wedge Antilles in Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, Ewan McGregor's uncle. Ewan McGregor, of course, plays Obi-Wan Kenobi in the prequel trilogy. And that's a fact, Jack. J.J. Abrams wanted Dennis Lawson to appear as Wedge Antilles in Star Wars Episode 7, but apparently he is too cool for school, and he didn't want to do it. He's kind of a big deal. Alright there, calm down, Wedge Antilles. Let's face it, Wedge Antilles is the Ringo Starr of the Rogue Squadron. Congratulations, Wedge Antilles, for not dying. George Lucas wanted Orson Welles to play the voice of Darth Vader, but Orson Welles was notoriously hard to deal with, so he went with James Earl Jones instead. In the 70s, when George Lucas was shopping the script for Star Wars, Disney originally turned it down, but many years later, in 2012, they bought the rights to Star Wars for $4.05 billion. Look how happy he is there. He's thinking, I made the right choice. George Lucas donated most of that money to charity. Bonus fact. And finally, I'm gonna leave you with this. The style of music played in the cantina scene is called jizz. Think on that. I guess it's affectionately called that, kind of like jazz, but not really. Well, there you have it, full throttle facts. Thanks for stopping by. If you have a fun and interesting fact about Star Wars, I'd like to know, so leave it in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share this video with your various sparring partners and sidekicks, and your uncle. If George Lucas has taught us anything with Star Wars, it's to always follow your dreams, because if you do, good things could happen. George Lucas's persistence in the 70s paid off. We were left with a classic, iconic, and one of the most original films in cinematic history. Persistence pays off. Although he needed to quit while he was ahead. If you want to help kids stay on target toward their goals, click the icon on my face at the end of this video, check the card, or look for a link in the description below. I'm Aristotle Full Throttle, and I'll see you later. I think it would have been a lot cooler if Mos Eisley Spaceport just had the Isley Brothers play. But I don't know if they know jizz. Today I've got for you 10 fun-filled facts about everyone's favorite movie, Ghostbusters. You know those books in the beginning of the movie where they're floating across the bookshelves? Well, that's not an optical effect.